there will be too many questions will be asked with parallel stream, and consider this parallel stream not in terms of interviews, but this helps you a lot when you're working in our applications as well. Because most of us, what exactly we do is we think like whenever there is a stream, if I replace the stream with parallel stream, something magic will happen. That's how we think, but that is not at all correct. Okay, there is lot about parallel stream, and that is the reason most of the interviews are concentrating on this part, and you will be asked a number of questions from this concept. So the mostly commonly asked questions are stream versus parallel stream, and how parallel stream is faster than stream. And also a couple of persons might ask you, if parallel stream is faster than stream, then will you use parallel stream every time? Can I parallel my stream whenever is possible? So these kind of questions you will be getting from the parallel stream. Now to answer these kind of questions, first of all you should be knowing how exactly a stream works, how exactly a parallel stream works internally. Then only you can answer these questions. Okay, so that is the reason. Let's see how stream works first. Before going further, we should be knowing one more thing, a relationship between core and a thread. A core is nothing but a CPU which will process our work. In our terms, it is a thread. Okay, a single core, a single CPU will process only one thread at a time. So it cannot run multiple threads at the same time in single CPU. Then what if I want to run multiple threads parallelly, in the sense at the same time? Then it should be a multi-core system. Okay, in our example, let's say there are 3 cores. Okay, then there will be 3 CPUs which can process your threads parallelly at the same time. Okay, now just have this concept in our mind. Now let's see how a stream works. A stream is nothing but processing a list of elements sequentially, in the sense even though your machine is a multi-core system, okay, even though there are multiple CPUs available to process the threads parallelly, but still there will be only one thread created, and this thread process your list of elements one after one. That is nothing but the sequential processing. Okay, now coming to the parallel stream. What exactly a parallel stream means? A parallel stream takes your list and divides this list into a sublist like a chunk of data, and it handovers each chunk to a thread, and those threads will be run across the cores. In the sense, how many number of cores you are having, okay, that much parallelism will happen. Okay, that much speed you will be getting. It is up to the number of cores that your machine is having. Okay, and syntactically speaking, is for the sequence streaming we use stream, and for parallel stream we use parallel stream method here. That is the difference. Okay, now you might ask one more question here. If I use, if parallel stream uses multiple threads here, then how am I getting a single response? That is because all threads responses will be joined together. There will be aggregation happen, and it will give the final result. That's how it happens. It is like fork join mechanism. Okay, guys, this is the difference between stream and parallel stream. Now coming to the actual questions, the first question is, what is the difference between stream and parallel stream? Now you can say stream in the sense a single thread will run the list of elements sequentially. Parallel stream in the sense it will run your list across the number of cores as a sublist. That is the difference. Now coming to the second one, how parallel stream is faster than stream? Because parallel streams is based upon the cores, number of cores, right? It will execute your threads across the number of CPUs. That's how it is faster. Now coming to the third one, if parallel stream is faster than a stream, then why can't we use parallel stream every time? Guys, this is the most important question, and we should be having more knowledge here, because this is not only for the interview. In your applications, most of us using stream and parallel stream also, right? Without having this knowledge, we cannot work in our applications as well. So to explain the third question, I have to show you some analytics, what I have done. Let's see that. So to get the statistics from sequential stream and parallel stream, I have created this class. Okay, and in this class I'm having two methods. One is process with sequential stream, which will process your stream sequentially. Another one is process with parallel stream, which will process your stream parallelly. Okay, Now what exactly I'm writing the logic is, so I'm just taking the integer range. Okay, this is a stream. Now on top of that, I'm just doing a simple operation. I'm multiplying with 2 and taking the sum of elements, okay, which is there in the stream. Okay, after map is executed, whatever the elements that are there in the stream, I'm taking the total sum. This is just a simple mathematics calculation. I'm just doing it on top of the stream. The same thing I'm doing on ParallelStream as well. So the logic is same. Okay, but this will process the operations sequentially. This will process the operations parallelly. That is the difference. Okay, now before running, I'm printing how many cores my machine has. So to know how many cores our machine is having, we can use runtime class. So runtime dot get runtime dot available processors will print or will give you how many cores your CPU has. Okay, so first let me run this. Okay, one minute, let me comment this method, because if we run both the methods, you won't be getting the accurate results. Okay, so first let me run the sequential stream only. Okay, now you receive 58 milliseconds, and see, mine is octa core. That is the reason number of cores are 8 here. Okay, let me print these statistics are somewhere, maybe above the class. Okay, now let me uncomment this sequential stream and uncomment this. Let's see what this ParallelStream gives. So this is also executed at same time, 56 milliseconds. Okay, fine. And one more question you might be having: how can you make sure that your ParallelStream is running parallelly or not? Right, that is the valid question. We have to know whether it is running or not. To know that, let me do one modification here. So here inside the map, okay, I will print the thread name, thread get name. This is I'm doing for the sequence stream. The same thing, let me do that for ParallelStream as well. Okay, now let's run the sequential stream first. So as you see, it is printed main. In the sense, as I said, in the sequential stream there will be only one thread, which is the main thread, and it will run the entire elements. That is the reason you are seeing main as a thread name. Okay, and it took 50 milliseconds. Let me write here. Now comment the sequential stream and go to ParallelStream and comment it, and now run this. You will see we have seen certain number of worker threads here. See, worker thread 2, 5, 7, 3. As I'm having octa core, including main, there are 8 threads are running in my machine. Okay, so that you can see by printing the thread name, you can see number of threads are processing the list of elements over here. So, and the number of and the time it took is 60 milliseconds. Okay, let me comment this out to avoid the unnecessary logging. Okay, now let me increase this range to from 100 to 10,000 this time. Okay, now same steps. First we will run the sequential stream and we will collect the statistics. It took 49 milliseconds. Okay, now run ParallelStream, comment sequential stream. It took 67 milliseconds. Okay, this time I'm going to increase this range to 1 million. Let me do this for 1 million. Same steps. First run sequential and get the statistics. 75 milliseconds to process 1 million records. And now run the ParallelStream. $87 milliseconds. Okay. Sorry. Now, as you can see, these statistics are we have collected the statistics when we are running the sequential stream, and we have collected the statistics when we are running the ParallelStream, and the logic is same. But do you really think that ParallelStream is increasing the performance and faster than the sequential stream? Based on the statistics, we are sure that ParallelStream is not at all faster than the sequential stream. Okay, but that's not what we have discussed in the theory part. In the theory part, we have discussed it like parallel stream using the number of threads by running in multiple cores. It should increase the performance. That's what we have discussed. But that is not at all happening when we are programming the code, right? The reason is, this is the important thing to know. In your code, if you are changing the stream with parallel stream, in the sense you will not get the any performance immediately, okay? Because as I said, parallel stream internally it will divides your base list into sublist. It divides your list into some sort of chunks, and for each chunk it has to create a thread. In the sense, creating a thread is very costly operations, that's what we know, right? And maintaining the life cycle of the thread, and also until unless all the threads are completed, it should wait somewhere at the aggregation point. So lot of things are happening inside the parallel stream. This is not simple operation to do, but the sequential stream is nothing like that. Simply it will process the elements one after one. But the parallel stream, to set up the configurations itself, to create the threads itself, it will take much time. That is the reason parallel stream is not every time faster than the sequential stream, okay? Then when to use the parallel stream here, let me show you one more thing. Let me decrease this count to 10, okay? I will show you when parallel stream really helps us. This logic is not so heavy to the CPU, right? So we are summing all the elements, and we are also multiplying the things. These are very small things that CPU can do in milliseconds itself, right? But instead of doing this simple operation, let me do some heavy task over here. So I'm taking the big integer. That big integer is like 2000 digits huge. It will be a random number. On top of this big huge integer, I'm trying to calculate a prime number. Once I done that, I'm going to count the bits, okay? Guys, this is really heavy operation for the CPU. CPU takes minimum 1 or 2 seconds of time to process this part, okay? Because this is very big thing, okay? Now let me run this for 10 elements and see what will happen. And first, as I said, let's run the sequential stream, okay? Okay, I'm going to pause this video until we get the response. Okay, so received response, it took 7 seconds nearly, okay, 7.6. Let me write down here, okay? Now do the same thing with parallel stream. Run it. So same thing, same logic with parallel stream. Let's see how much time it will take. See, it took 5.7 seconds almost. Let me write down here. Now let's do the same thing for 100 this time, okay? It will take some time. That's the reason after I run this method, I will pause the video until we'll get the response, okay? So let's run the sequential stream. Yep, done. So it took almost 64 seconds to complete this 100 elements, to get the big integer prime numbers for this 100 elements, okay? Now let's do the same thing for parallel stream and see how much time it will take. Let me pause this video and we will get back once the results are available. Okay, we got the result. See, parallel stream took only 24 seconds to process this, okay? And if you compare now, don't you think that parallel stream is faster than the sequential stream? It is. So when to use parallel stream, in the sense, it's up to you, okay, to identify your workload, to identify your CPU processing time of your operations. Once you identify those things, then only you should use the parallel stream. So parallel stream can increase your can increase your performance, as well as can decrease the performance if you are not using that right, carefully. So that is the thing with the parallel stream. Here I have used parallel stream because this will take a lot more time for the CPU. Now when parallel stream is creating the threads, okay, when it is creating the threads, Each thread will take certain amount of time to process these things. Okay, so that is the reason here I'm getting the benefit of parallel stream, because the actual process itself takes a lot of time. But before we have very simple operations. For that also, if I use parallel stream, it will be extra burden to the JVM to create multiple threads for parallel stream, right? So that is the difference. Now I hope you have very good understanding on the parallel stream. Okay, now let's continue with the next questions.